Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Saksham Chhabra and today for the first time I'm getting somebody from corporate in Dublin, Ireland on my channel. So this podcast is going to be really special, and also this person is an alumni of UCD Smurfit Business School for MSc Business Analytics. So make sure to watch it till the very end. And yeah, without further ado, let's start the video. Hi Saksham.
Hi,
Welcome
Saksham.
on to the channel. Could you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure. So, जैसे आपको पता चल ही गया होगा that my name is Saksham as well, and yeah, he gave a very nice introduction. I came to Ireland like 2 years back in 2023, and I started studying in UCD Smurfit Business School. So the course that I studied was MSc Business Analytics, and I graduated just last year, and recently got a job at Indeed as a product scientist one.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Could you please tell us a little bit about, before we get into the deep conversations about how you got into the corporate, I want you to talk to the audience about why did you choose business analytics? And do you have any personal background from the corporate experience or not? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, sure. So I'll start from the very beginning that I did a bachelor's in mathematics from Delhi University, the same college as him, ARST. And after that, I started working in AXA XL. It's a French insurance firm. I was working in the claims department in the data analytics division. Post AXA XL, I worked there for around 7 to 8 months. I shifted to BCG, Boston Consulting Group, in the survey analytics division, and worked there for almost a year. Post which I got an offer from UCD Smurfit, and I was planning to stay a bit more in BCG because I was getting to learn a lot of things. But you know, जब opportunity आती है तो you should grab that opportunity. So I moved to Dublin for business analytics. Now, as to the question of why business analytics, there are a couple of reasons. I've always been interested in data science, and I applied to like many courses around Ireland, and UCD के अंदर ही I got courses दो, which were data and computational sciences and business analytics. So the reason of choosing business analytics was that I already have a background in mathematics, and I already know the topics that they were going to teach in data and computational sciences. It was more of a math focused course. I wanted to get experience in more of a business side of things, so that is why I chose business analytics. Plus, I had talked to a couple of people who had recently passed out from business analytics as well, and like they told that it's overall it's a nice course if you want to get an overview of things instead of just focusing on the technical sides. So that was the main reason for business analytics. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for elaborating on that. So when it comes down to Ireland, specifically Dublin, we've got college like Trinity as well, who's a good competitor of UCD. Why did you select UCD specifically over Trinity? Was there any particular reason, or did you do the research part? How was it?
The fun fact is I got admission in both, and it was a trade-off between these things. The thing about Trinity is the course started recently, as far as I know. It started in 2017-18 or something like that. So relatively compared to UCD, it's a new course. UCD's course, BA course, has been going on for a long time. Earlier it was known as Management Sciences. Now it's known as Business Analytics. So overall, the alumni network is really strong for UCD, which is one of the main reasons I chose UCD. One more fun fact over here is UCD has something called GLP, which I think Trinity does not have, because I did not see it in the overview column. So GLP stands for Global Leadership Program, and essentially one of the things in GLP is that they match you with a mentor, an alumni of your course who has recently passed out. This actually helps you get the industry connections, and gets you to actually know how the things are working in the corporate, which is one of the things which is very helpful for me. My mentor helped me out immensely. We worked on projects together. Apart from the college projects, we did personal projects, which really stood out in my CV and were one of the reasons I got a job.
Yeah, that's really interesting, I would say, because a lot of people try to choose Trinity over UCD, but they don't understand this thing. If you are coming to Ireland specifically for some business related course, UCD should be your priority over Trinity. Else than that, even you will agree, courses related to tech or maybe research courses, or for postgrad like medical courses, Trinity should be a go-to choice.
Yeah, so that is one thing that people usually do not get, that
Yeah.
each college has a speciality. So even if you're looking at the rankings, let's say you're looking at the QS rankings, you're looking at the overall rankings, but each course also has a ranking. Like UCD BA course is ranked higher, maybe higher than TCD. TCD's medicine course might be ranked higher than UCD's. So you have to look at these things as well while you're deciding, which college you should go to. Plus, I always say this to everyone who asks me: talk to people who are already in the course. They'll give you a better understanding rather than these rankings.
Definitely, definitely. And if you were to talk about your entire experience at UCD in one line, how would that be?
Uh, that's a really hard question because you can't sum up 1 year in one line.
Yeah.
I would say that it was eventful.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Is there any part that you miss from the college days, or you were happy like, thank God it got over?
So the thank God it's over part was the assignments. Thank God they're over. But the part that I really miss is hanging around with the friends. So I was in a student accommodation, and like many of my friends from the same course were in the same building. So we used to cook together often, and which is really helpful because when I came here, I didn't know how to cook. So I was always at their place.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And now let's try to talk about the job market.
All right.
Yeah. So my first question to you would be, firstly, how did you find the difference in job market in Ireland versus India?
Definitely, it's easier to get a job in India. One of the main reasons is that you don't need a sponsorship for visa. Uh, the jobs that you're qualified for, both in India and Ireland, one of the main reasons you get rejected is that people need to sponsor you over here. So that people watching these videos might know what stamps are, and on what stamp you can study and on what stamp you can, look for a job. So stamp 1G is the job seeking visa that you get after your studies, which is stamp 2. On a 1G, you can stay in Ireland for over 2 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, if someone does not sponsor you, you have to go back. And if they sponsor you, you're shifted to stamp 1. But for shifting you to a stamp 1, companies need to provide some information regarding how many employees they have in their company who are Irish or non-Irish, whether there were some redundancies in the current role that you're interviewing for, things like that. And apart from that, they also need to sign that, okay, they're taking responsibility for you for over 2 years if you're looking for a critical skills visa. So these are some things which hamper companies to sponsor you. I mean, it's not a big deal because it's just like a 2-3 page document that they need to fill and sign. But I don't know, it might be laziness or something that companies, do not sponsor.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And that's a good thing that you've talked about this different stamps, because even when I came over here, I had the idea of what stamps people have to go through to get to a citizenship part, but didn't have the clarity like on stamp 2 I cannot start looking for the jobs because I will face the rejections, because people have this like the corporates have this expectation that you should be joining us immediately, but with the stamp 2 you can't do that. And I think that is a downside to the stamp 2. People don't understand this thing. You should also make sure to this mentality that on stamp 2 it's really hard to get a full-time job offer. You can give the interviews, you can give the entire process of recruitment, but in the very end it depends upon how immediate available you are. But stamp 2 binds you in restrictions of working up till 20 years, I guess.
Yeah, so on stamp 2 you have these two things, that whenever you have holidays you can work full time, that is 40 hours, which is around December, January, and probably around May as well. um, the time that academic year is going on and you do not have holidays, you're allowed to work till 20 hours. And see, that's a good thing that you pointed out, that people do not hire on stamp 2. One way that you can get hired on stamp 2 is apply for graduate jobs, which is something that I did not know when I came here. I missed out on that opportunity. So graduate jobs are usually for people who do not have much experience, and to get started with, the companies, they train you within those graduate role periods, which is usually for 2 years. Um, so yeah, I would say that if you want to secure a job as a backup option as well, even if you have experience, let's say, if you want a backup option, come here, apply for graduate roles as soon as you arrive, because the applications open in around September, October only.
Yeah. And also, let's talk about this thing, how easy or difficult it is to get into a grad program as well. Because people should have their expectations very clear from the get-go, that it's not like that if it is for a fresher, you might get easily, because the competition for the grad roles are even tougher. Because, yeah, eventually, people are not going to give you jobs over here very easily.
That's true.
They are going to make you work for that. So, do you want to give any advice to the people who are just freshers, just out of their undergrads, coming here for the masters, if they are applying for the grad roles, how they can get themselves visible in front of the recruiter?
One of the key things that comes from the top of my mind is, uh, reach out to people on LinkedIn who are in the same role that you're applying for. Let's say you're applying for a data analyst role at one of the banks over here, let's say AIB or Bank of Ireland. They have graduate programs. Talk to people, like what competencies they require, and get them in your CV. Work upon them, prepare for the interview around them, and mold your CV in such a way that people can see that, okay, if I hire this person for this particular job, he has the necessary skill sets to manage the expectations. Apart from that, I don't think like there's much advice I can give. One more is that if you have experience more than 3 years, uh, people over here consider less than 3 years experience as freshers. If you have more than 3 years, just downplay your experience a bit. Because I'll give you a personal example. I have a friend who got the grad role in Bank of Ireland, and she had like 4 years of experience, but she downplayed it to 1.5 years, and she got the role. And like, I've seen people who have applied with 4 years, 5 years of experience, they're all rejected, because these roles are essentially for people who do not have much experience. So if you do not have any experience, then it's good. Okay, you mold your CV in the way that I talked about. If you have a lot of experience, just downgrade it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Also, really thank you so much for giving the personal example of your friend, because I know sometimes people don't feel comfortable talking about such personal situations. But now let's talk about, how did you find the entire recruitment process in Ireland for yourself? Like from the get-go, from finding different jobs, from applying to giving the interviews, or maybe getting the rejections even, which was the part. But yeah, could you talk about that?
Um, uh, I would say that, okay, haar nahi manni.
Yeah.
You just have to keep trying. You just need that one yes among those countless rejections. For me as well, like I graduated in September, and I got the job in around like January, February. Like I got the confirmation. So it was a good couple of months that I was in that job seeking phase, and there were countless rejections. Sometimes I used to feel like, okay, should I move back, or like is did I make the correct decision or not? And let me tell you, the job market is really hard right now, really hard. But you just have to keep on trying. People in my course, most of them have got jobs. Some of them haven't. I'm pretty sure they will, because towards the tech side of things, you usually find ample amount of jobs over here. But if you're coming into a domain which is not tech related, let's say law or marketing or something, the jobs are relatively less and you'll face much more competition. So, do your research on this, that okay, the role that I want to go for when I finish my masters, how are the jobs right now? Right now is the most critical part, because back in 2021, 2022, and this is like I was looking at the data. I'm working Indeed, so I can look at the jobs data. So back in 2021, 2022, on average for each unemployed person there were around 2.5 jobs. Right now that number is 1.1. So you see how less jobs we have in the market right now.
That's good to hear. I thought this number would be negative.
No, it's not
Because
negative.
given the situation in the
Yeah.
market right now, because only from what I've heard and from my research only, I know that these three sectors are booming: IT, pharma, and finance.
And finance, yeah.
Yeah. And else than that, it's a really hard play.
Yeah. I would say that luck also plays a very big role.
A lot.
I can give you again a personal example.
Yeah, please.
So I didn't know like why my CV was accepted and why like my friends who applied for the same role, theirs was rejected. And later on when I joined, I got to know that the experience that I had in the beginning of my career and the experience that the hiring manager had was pretty similar. He really liked my CV and that's why it was shortlisted. So you see,
Seriously?
yeah, exactly. So
that's new.
luck plays a big role. So that's why I was saying that you just keep on applying. You never know where you might get that yes from.
Fair enough, fair enough. And would you like to talk about the ways and the means in which people can apply for jobs in Dublin or maybe in Ireland?
In general, I would say that you should mostly apply through referrals. I mean, reach out to people in LinkedIn. So I'll tell you my strategy. If I see any opening in any company, let's say AIB, I would reach out to at least 5 people. I'll send a connection request with a personalized message to 5 people who work in a similar kind of a role, or maybe in a similar team. And I would ask, first of all, like what skills and competencies they look for, what things might be tested in an interview, and if it's possible for them to refer me while giving my background as well. You will get 1 or 2 yeses among those 5, let me tell you that. So you get that yes, you apply through a referral, and most of the times, I mean not most of the times, your CV is shortlisted. I gave a couple of interviews. The times that I didn't apply through a referral, I rarely got an interview. But the times that I did apply through a referral, I gave like 4 or 5 interviews.
Yeah. And also, what's your take on applying for jobs through portals like, I'm not going to mention your company, but Glassdoor and jobs.ie and platforms like these, which are like where you can just directly drop in your resume and it's like an easy apply kind of thing, similar to LinkedIn. Like, do you think it's a good strategy to follow, or just solely rely on applying through career pages and career portals on the websites?
What comes to my mind, like beggars can't be choosers. So
fair enough.
yeah,
fair
so
enough.
try to apply as much as you can. Like quantity also matters with quality.
Yeah.
So in the situation that you're talking about, easy applies, it doesn't take much time. It takes like 5 to 10 seconds to apply for one particular job. So while you're waking up, instead of scrolling Insta for 30 minutes, you just take 5 minutes and just apply to all the easy applies that opened during that day.
That's a good suggestion.
Yeah, that's what I used to do, and I got this job in Indeed through an easy apply.
Seriously?
Yeah, I got
Seriously?
Exactly.
And which platform was it?
Indeed, Indeed doesn't host their job on any other platform.
Oh damn.
Yeah, and even the job back in India in BCG that I got was also through an easy apply. So I mean,
a little backstory for the people who don't know about our equation. So I met him like 3 to 5 months ago, and I used to ask him like, because he's a senior to me, and I always used to ask him like, do easy apply really matters? Like, should I be applying through it? Because I have already faced a number of rejections, and I can openly say that I have no shame, because I know my CV is perfect. The problem is in the system, which you will agree to some extent.
Yeah.
So I was like, should I or should I not? He was like, yes, you should, but now I know the reason why you said yes to those
Yeah.
things. So, okay, I think I need to play my cards right at the same time. Try my luck each and every time I can get the chance to.
Exactly. I mean, it doesn't take much time.
Yeah,
Go for it.
easy apply, of course. And would you uh, like to talk about this thing? Like everybody recommends this, that you have to mend your CV for each and every job description, like at least mend your professional summary and the skill section to the bare minimum as per the job description. Do you think that is a good strategy to go ahead with?
It actually is. So I'll give you a strategy to go about it. They, let's say, if you're applying to an analytics role, so there are only n number of things that people usually ask for, and when you're in that job seeking phase, you'll realize this, that most of the things are similar. So let's say if I'm applying for a data analyst job, I'll create one CV which should have all those things, one for business analyst roles, things like that, and then for each job you can just delete things which you don't need.
Yeah.
So I mean, you don't need to refine it every time. You just need to delete those things which are not needed.
Which are not needed. And also, like on the same topic, what platform would you recommend to the audience to use to make the CVs? Like, should they be using the Canva or like a simple Word document? And should it be send it in a PDF file or a doc file? That also matters, I guess.
I can tell you from my experience,
Yeah.
because when you join Smurfit, if people would join,
Yeah.
they'll get to know that there's something called as Careers Network, which is basically there to help you guide, in your job seeking phase. And what they recommend from the very beginning itself is don't use fancy CVs, use a simple Word doc, and no Canva templates, because that is something which is frowned upon over here. For in India, like I used a Canva template, it worked for me. But over here, I use the Word doc, and I mean it's subjective. You can apply via PDF or a doc file. It doesn't matter,
Okay.
because what happens is it goes through ATS, and it takes both PDF and doc, so that's not a problem.
And also one information that I would like to get fact checked from you, since you are a part of the corporate now. Like people say this thing, if you get a job through a referral, you don't have to go through that ATS software thing, that level. Is it true or false? Like imagine if there are two candidates applying for the same role, one went through the referral and the other went through the normal process. His CV would be going through the ATS software, but the other one's not. Is it true?
To be honest, I don't know.
Okay.
People say that, okay, if you're applying through a referral, it skips the ATS, but I don't think that's the case, because nowadays most of the jobs that people are applying for are through referrals. You can get them easily through LinkedIn. So, and most of the people are getting rejected via referrals as well. So no one knows if it goes through the ATS or not.
Okay, fair enough. And now I think the interview is getting a little bit information heavy. Let's try to calm it down. Let's play a game.
All right.
Okay. To keep the audience hooked as well. We need to make sure of that as well. So over here, I have a little game for you.
I'm a bit nervous.
No, it's really fine. It's called This or That Data Analyst Edition.
All right.
So the rules is very simple. I'll be speaking of 10 things. You'll have to pick one as soon as you can. Fair enough?
All right.
Shall we start?
Yeah.
Okay, the first one. SQL or Python?
SQL.
Tableau or Power BI?
Tableau.
Coding or storytelling?
Storytelling is more important, but you can't do it without coding.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Work from home or work from office?
Personally, work from office because you get to meet people and make, build a network.
Okay. Accuracy or speed?
Accuracy.
Coffee break or walk break?
Coffee break.
Nice.
Yeah.
Monday morning dashboards or Friday evening reports?
Monday morning. Any day.
Seriously?
Any day.
Oh, nice.
I'd rather spend my Friday evening with friends and hanging out.
That's a good one. Data cleaning or data visualization?
Both are important, but the end stakeholders go for data visualization. So that is important. Yeah.
Okay. Group project or solo work?
Solo work.
Solo
Get to
work.
learn more.
Yeah, I agree. Dublin rain or Indian summer?
Dublin rain.
Seriously? You would
Yeah.
prefer that?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I come from a region where it touches 50 degrees. It's really hot.
Ah, fair enough. I can relate to that. I can. And with that, it brings us to an end of this game.
Thank
Just
you.
like a little breather. And you did great, by the way.
Thank you.
So yeah, now let's continue back with the interview.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've talked about a lot about how a person goes through different series of steps while they're applying.
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell us in brief what all steps you faced while you were giving interview for the Indeed? Like how many rounds were there, and in each and every round, what was your learning, and what was their expectations that you could have done better maybe, so that it can be a learning case for other people?
All right, so let's start with the number of rounds. In any typical job, the first thing you get is a call from the recruiter or an email, and they ask about your availability to schedule a call or something. And once that's done, the recruiter asks you a couple of questions to get to know a sense of your background and what all things you have worked upon if you're going for an experienced role. So for me, in Indeed, I had 5 rounds. 5 rounds, yeah. The first round was the recruiter one. It was a half an hour call with the recruiter. He got to know about my experiences in a little bit more detail than the CV. And then at the end of the round, there was also a bit of a questionnaire kind of a thing, just to weed out people who are faking the experience. So he asked me like 3 technical questions, one on SQL, one on Python, and one on mathematics, which are fairly easy. So I'll give you an example. For SQL, it was like, tell me the difference between different type of joins that there are in SQL. So I had 3 questions which answered fairly easily, post which a technical round was scheduled. In the technical round, for you get to code with a person from the team live on a Zoom call. For me, it was done on the HackerRank platform, and it's basically kind of a case study where they had some data, and I had to answer certain questions by manipulating that data. Um, I thought that I didn't do it that well on the round, but I got to know that most of my answers were correct, and I was going in the right direction.
That's great.
And yeah, that's why I cleared that round. Post which, in Indeed, you have 3 more rounds, which can either be on the same day or on different days, depending upon your availability. So the 3 rounds were, one was on mathematics and statistics because it's a data science role. One was on your resume, which is usually with the hiring manager, where you deep dive with them on your resume and answer any questions that they might have. Essentially, they want to get a better understanding of where you come from and what skills you possess and how that would be useful for the team. And then the last round was on product sciences. Um, so essentially, this is a round which is similar for product management and data sciences role, where you go into product oriented company. For me, I had a case study there as well, where I had to, there was a certain problem with the website, a hypothetical website, not the Indeed one, and like I had to figure out like how we could change the metrics or look into certain things to resolve that issue.
Okay.
And I know it sounds a bit heavy. It
Yeah,
is
because
not.
I was trying to count the number of rounds up till now. I think we've talked about 6 rounds.
5 rounds.
6. Oh yeah.
5 rounds.
Yeah, I counted email as 1 round as well.
Yeah. No, but I know it sounds heavy. It is actually not. People are really nice over here. The interviews are more of a conversational style interview. It's not like they're asking you questions and you have to ask. It's more of a conversation. And one good thing is that okay, I reached out to people in Indeed on LinkedIn. I know that sounds.
That's absurd.
Yeah,
But
yeah, and I already had like a conversation with the people who were kind of going to interview me. I mean, they didn't tell me like what the
Of course,
interview was
yeah.
about, but they were nice enough to say that okay, if you have any questions or if you want a feedback after the interview, we can give you that. So that tells you things that okay, people are open to a dialogue, and which is something which actually helped me out in the interviews. for example, I was stuck in the maths round on a certain problem. I was going in the right direction, but I was missing a step. And the person who was taking the interview, he just pointed out, okay, you're missing that, which helped me out immensely. And I lost all the nervousness that I had from that moment onwards. So you don't need to be that nervous. Prepare well, and be open to a dialogue. People essentially want a person who can actually, who they can work with. So you have to present yourself as an individual who would be, part of a team, would be open to conversations, not like a recluse who's just focusing on their work.
Okay, fair enough. That's a good point that you've talked about, I would say, about how people make you feel comfortable when you are having conversations with them. Because being Indians, both of us, I think you will agree to this thing. We had this mentality that if a person is on a higher rank than me, we have to be very much respectful in the way we communicate to them. We have that hierarchy approach that we need to follow. But over here, people are like, just talk to me like a friend.
Yeah.
You don't have to approach them like sir or ma'am. That's a different case altogether over here. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that also gives you a little freedom while expressing yourself, because there's a different way you're talking to a friend than to a colleague or than to a senior boss. So that's a good thing about it over here.
Yeah, I totally agree. So, the maths round that I was just talking
Yeah.
about was with the senior manager who heads both the software engineering side as well as the data science side. And I mean, when I come to the office, everyone sits together. We get lunch in the office. We sit together at a table and discuss random things about what TV show we're watching and stuff like that. And it's more like it's like a conversation between friends. There's no hierarchy. Like I was talking to a senior manager about a show that he was watching last week, or he went fishing last week, something like that. So that is not a case over here that you have to be. You have to be respectful, but you don't have to call them sir or ma'am.
Yeah.
That's not a thing over here.
Exactly. And throughout the entire steps of recruitment that you went through, you might have had learned something for sure. Would you like to tell something to the audience, like this was my learning out of my entire recruitment process that you should be getting ready for later down the lane when they will be sitting in your place?
There's a general trend in the market that when there are a certain number of years when there are a lot of jobs, there are a certain number of years when there are very few jobs. We're in the few jobs period right now. So it might take you a bit of time to get a role that you're looking for. Don't feel defeated, because that's what people usually do. Just keep on applying, keep track of your applications, follow up on things. Just keep on applying. You'll get that 1 yes from somewhere for sure.
Fair enough. And would you like to talk about how a typical day in your life look like as a corporate person right now?
Sure. So it depends. It's different on days I go to the office and
Yeah.
on days I do not. I'll talk
Okay.
about the days I go to the office.
Fair enough.
I usually wake up around 6:30 a.m. My office is like 1 hour away from my home, so I have to leave my home around 8. The reason I'm waking up at 6:30 is I try to go to the gym to work out, because everyone says that I've become a little fat when I reach here. But yeah, I've been trying to go to the gym. That's why I wake up a little bit early. I finish that up, I take a shower, I commute to the work. There's no hard deadline that you have to reach by 9 a.m.,
Yeah.
but that's when people usually reach. So that's what I aim for. We have the good thing is we get lunch in the office, so I don't need to cook in the morning as well. So around 1 p.m. We usually go for lunch. We come back by 5. The work is done, and it takes an hour. Actually, more than an hour, because there's the office rush around 5 p.m.
Yeah.
to reach back home. So by 6:15, 6:30, I reach home. Work on any personal project that I might be doing, which I'm not right now.
Yeah.
Go for a run or a game of basketball
Oh.
with my friends.
Nice.
and then come home and cook dinner. I think that's pretty much it.
And what about the other scenario on the day we were not going to the office?
Then I wake up a little later in the day. I wake up around 7:30
Yeah.
and go to the gym and come back
And
and
the
take a
entire
shower.
day, yeah.
And the rest of the day is same.
Okay.
The only thing that I have to do on a day I do not go to the office is cook my lunch. So my
Fair
lunch break essentially is just cooking, trying to cook as fast as possible and finish that meal because I just get 1 hour. I mean,
Yeah.
technically you can take more time because you're
You're
at
at your
home.
home.
But I try to finish it up because I'm trying to learn new things at work. So that's the
Okay.
problem. I won't say it's a problem, but that's a good thing.
Okay, now you've experienced, I think, 3 different lives over here. Like one of a corporate student, one of a person who was simultaneously working, but at the same time now you're in a corporate. What's the difference? Which life would you prefer
See,
for a full-time thing?
for a full time thing.
Yeah, like you had to do that for the rest of your life.
Definitely a corporate job because
Especially over here, or you're talking about back in India as well?
over here, I
Yeah.
would say, because the work-life balance is great. Everyone's understanding. Let's suppose you have some work and you can't log in early. You can just drop a text and they'll be understanding enough. So that's one thing. The work-life balance is great. People are nice. That's one of the main reasons I would say a corporate life. But overall, if someone is, and I was working part-time while I was studying, so I've seen that people are respectful over here for a person who's working part-time as well. So that is something that, okay, you don't need to be ashamed of because there's this notion back in India that, oh, he's just working part-time.
Yeah.
So
They find these jobs very menial.
menial, yeah. But that's something which is not over here.
Yeah.
Everyone finds their work respectful. They're respectful towards one another, which is a great thing.
And plus, you get to make connections. Like this person is sitting over here right now. That goes to because of our part-times.
Yeah, we were working on the same part-time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would prefer to choose a corporate one because you get more money and more freedom to do things. But the student life and the part-time life is also not bad. The only part of life where a person might be stressed about is in the job seeking phase,
Definitely.
which is understandable.
It's on a loop, I think.
Yeah.
As long as you're a student, it's on a constant loop. Every day you're living
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah, but overall, once you get a job, it's kind of a sweet life.
Yeah. It kind of puts you on the right track now. Okay, now achieve this milestone. Now
Yeah.
what's next?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
after this, you can plan your life ahead of you.
Exactly.
And also, I would like to know this thing from you. Like, of course, a good college stamp on your resume matters. Like, but would you say like getting a UCD, like your degree specifically from UCD, helped you in any way or form through your recruitment process? Because you're paying a hefty amount for that, and UCD coming to the top colleges of entire Ireland and Europe as well. So, do you think that is really beneficial, or people with experience can move to some other college, like maybe in the countryside, where the fees are a little low, but at the same time they can find the jobs over here?
I mean, there are two sides to this argument. One, for me, as I said earlier in the interview, that I I got matched with a mentor through the GLP program, which actually helped me a lot. My mentor was working in Microsoft, and through her connections, I applied to a lot of jobs, and she helped me in preparing for the interviews. So we did mock interviews together. So these things that UCD offer, I don't think any other college offers. So in terms of these things, I would say I'd choose UCD. But if you have, let's say, a 10 years of experience or 15 years of experience or even like 7, 8 years of experience, you can go for the other colleges in those counties because essentially what employer looks for is the person able to do a job. And if you can show that you have that experience and you're adept at those technologies and skills, you'll get hired. Your college wouldn't matter that much.
Fair enough. I think that's a good advice from your side, because sometimes people get mistaken, like, because I've, like, see, I counsel personally one-on-one a lot of people. They talk to me like they are like, I'm fresher, like, do you think I can go to a college which is cheaper? Like, that's not always a suggestion, because you know, getting into a cheaper college would make you financially good for the moment being, but in the long run it's a negative investment.
Exactly.
And okay, now let's try to bring this interview to an end. Before I end it, I have one more game plan, and before
Alright.
that, one more question.
All right.
Throughout your entire journey in Ireland so far, if you were to talk about the learnings, what will they be? Like, because a person learns a lot when they are living on their own, with their own money, and you know, going through these difficulties through thick and thins, with friends or without the friends. So how was it for you?
For me, all right, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
I came here, I didn't know how to cook, right? I told you that.
Yeah.
But I found a good couple of friends who actually helped me out in that aspect. And one thing is that within 1 year, you'll learn how to cook for sure. So that is one skill you'll gain. Apart from that, surround yourself with good people, because you're away from your family. It gets lonely, especially in winters when it's dark, like most of the time. If you have good people around, even for group projects, or studying together or cooking together or whatever, I mean, you're able to easily ease that loneliness. Apart from that, one skill that is very important is prioritization of things. Um, you'll be juggling a lot of things together. You might be working part time. You might have college deadlines. You might have exams coming up. You'll be applying for jobs. You might have a relationship that you want to focus on. There's n number of things that you might have to juggle with. Prioritize things which are important to you. That is one skill that you should ideally gain.
Yeah. Thank you so much for opening up, because I know summarizing your entire journey can be a bit heavy sometimes.
Yeah.
So let's try to end this interview with a game.
Sure.
This is the final game
All right.
for the time being.
All right.
So this is called Rapid Fire Analytics and Life in Ireland.
All right.
Okay. So basically, I'll be giving you one sentence, and you have to give me the first word that comes in your mind after listening to that one line. Okay.
All right.
Fair enough. Shall we?
Yeah.
So first one, the first word that comes to your mind when you hear the word big data.
That was
Light. Sorry guys, these are sense emotions.
So for big data, I would say low code tools.
Okay, fair
Alright.
enough. Second, one tech tool you can't live without.
SQL.
Okay, a job rejection that actually helped you.
Google. I applied for a role in Google and actually had a talk with the recruiter. She gave me, although I didn't progress in further round, she gave me a couple of lines of feedback, which immensely helped me in the coming interviews.
That's good. Most underrated skill in analytics.
Presenting things correctly to the stakeholders. So data storytelling is important.
Okay. One Irish phrase or slang that you love.
Grand.
I was going the same.
Yeah.
So, best place to chill in Dublin.
That's a tough one. I've got a lot of places in my mind, but one which immediately jumps out is Bray. It's down south. It's a beach essentially, and there's a hike around that, and it's a lovely hike. I would suggest people who are coming over to go for that.
Thank you for the suggestion. Indians in Ireland. One word, quick. I want to hear it quick.
Friends. All
I
right.
thought you would say annoying. Worst assignment you had at UCD.
All right. I had to summarize a couple of research papers.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Favorite Irish food, if you have any.
What's the crack?
Okay, no, food. Favorite
Food?
Irish food, if
Oh,
you
I
have
thought
any.
you asked the word.
No.
Favorite Irish food? I don't think there's much Irish food.
We've explored, yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. One advice you'd give to your younger self.
You're going on the right track.
Fair enough. That's a good one.
Mhm.
One myth about working in tech you want to bust.
Um, I've seen that most people on Instagram and YouTube, when they make vlogs, it's like all rainbows and sunshine. That okay, I just go to the office to chill and not work. I'm getting free lunch, free coffee,
But see,
things.
I'm not doing that on my channel.
Yeah.
This is a live testament to that.
Yeah. I mean, you get those things, but it's not always rainbows and sunshine. You have to work, and sometimes you have to work a bit late in the day as well to meet those deadlines. So manage your expectations that okay, sometimes you'll have not much work, sometimes you'll have enough work. So that's kind of balanced.
Okay, that brings us to the end of the game and the interview. And I really appreciate you taking time for this thing. He especially came right after his job ended at 5:30. It's right now 6:45. He just came. He was such a kind person. So for that, I just have a little token of appreciation for you.
Oh, you don't need to do that. Yeah.
It's just a little token of appreciation.
Thank you so much. It was lovely being here, and you guys can connect with me on LinkedIn, or
I'll
if you have any
drop
questions.
down in the description. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have any questions, just reach out to me.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And with that, let's close it up.
Yeah, sure.